Hello, this is Nick Rijmakers. I'm here to talk about the layout web content management pages approach on how to create very nice headers and footers in your enterprise content management system environment with IAM. First, I want to talk about what is it exactly, then which problem does it solve or which challenges does it address. Then I want to give you a quick solution comparison. How does it compare up to the other alternatives out there, and why I believe that you should almost almost always choose this solution? Because I think, although I'm subjective, that this is the best way to go, at least for now, as it stands today. So, what is it exactly? Well, it's really an architectural approach on how to develop the header and footer in your platform in IAM. So yeah, as I said, it concerns the header and footer. It's based upon best practices. I did not invent this, so I cannot take credit for it, but I hope I can perfect it and improve upon it. Basically, the way it works that it uses web content management pages from IAM, so really pages you create in the administrative interface, and you create them in a separated tree, usually one tree per language next to the regular content. And in there you really create, for instance, a header page which represents a header, and under the header page you create menu entries, and under those menu entries you create sub entries and so forth, etc. And for the footers, also you just create a footer page, and in the footer page you can add components, anything you like. And then when you are finished with your header and footer, you can just reference them from your regular pages to tell your pages to load in that particular header or footer. And then Sling will do the rest. So why do we need this at all? So what's the challenge exactly? Well, your typical use case scenario will be you're at a client, either they want to redesign, or they're starting from scratch. And for your platform, you need a header and a footer. And the requirements are quite, interesting. You will need, the client asks flexibility for the authors. So authors should be able to choose a header and footer per particular page. That's completely different than the page next to it, if they want. Also, it has to be maintainable for the author and the developer. For the author, they want to use, inheritance in content, so multi-site manager, language copies. They want to use the translations from IAM, all that nice stuff for which they paid. And for the developers, it has to be maintainable so that new features can be added in an iterative way all the time, and it still has to add up nicely. It should come out nice. And one more thing for the author maintainability: when maintaining or editing the headers and the menu entries, it should be all nicely structured. It should not be messy in the interface. It all needs to be tidy. Also, it needs to be personalizable. So basically, the client wants, okay, for anonymous, we want header variant A, anonymous header, but if you're logged in as, special user something, then you need to have this header, but if you're then logged in as some other user group, you need to have another header. So we want to serve different headers based on the request. And not only that, we also want this to scale. We want this to perform under heavy stress. So it needs to be cacheable. We don't want to drown our servers. So you have these requirements. They're quite typical these days in the competitive environment that we live in, and we need to address them. So, well, what do we have as an answer to this? Well, here's my basic solution comparison matrix. This is subjective, I will admit, to my experience. So other people might disagree with this. That is okay. In my experience, this is what it is. So I'm not gonna go through everything, but I just want to explain what I mean with language root pages. With language root pages, basically that solution, what I mean is that you take the language root page like EN for English, and under there you have your first level pages such as home or about or info, and those pages will be then used to generate the main menu entries in the header, basically. So you have a component in the template, and it uses those pages then to generate menu entries. And it's definitely not flexible because, for instance, because if you want a page that's underneath there to use a different structure, then, good luck. That's going to be really, really tough. So there are some solutions, but it's then really messy, so not really. And, the other points put out there, I'll explain the points, but the multi-field component basically means, as it says, it's a really simple, I've seen it a lot of times, unfortunately, where you just have a component, usually in an iParses, an inherited parses, and in that component you just have a multi-field, and every entry represents a main menu entry with a link and maybe a checkbox to open in a new window, and you just add entries according to what the main menu is. However, the problem, of course, is once the client says, now I want sub entries, then you need to add a multi-list in a multi-list. And if you want a sub entries, it needs to be a multi-list. And then if the client also wants additional properties, it's going to be a huge mess. So I would definitely not recommend to do it. It's not extensible, etc. So experience fragment, just loading your header as an experience fragment. This is, of course, pretty new. I also put a question mark on offer maintainability because I feel I cannot really judge it yet. I haven't seen it in practice, but in my opinion, it's not designed for this. Experience fragment is meant for something else, in my opinion, but other people might disagree. But the approach that I've seen work and definitely works and really works nice is the approach that I'm about to propose. And by the way, you can load experience fragments in this approach. But the one that I propose basically meets all these requirements. So it's flexible, it's extendable for the developers. You leverage Sling to really develop as many header templates as you like. And it's nicely composed and all maintainable. For the offers, you can leverage all out-of-the-box stuff like translations, language copy, live copy, multi-site manager. Cacheable, I have this working with Adobe AEM Commons HTTP cache, combined with a personalizable option, basically. So the demo I have is that it serves a different cache entry based on a cookie. So in this case, you would have your middleware with the JavaScript set a cookie like, okay, I'm this kind of a user, and then it would serve you different content. But of course, you can plug in anything you like yourself. So I feel that this is the way to go, and I hope that you will consider this solution in your project. So next video will be just how to develop a basic header and footer template in the code, and basically how to use it in your project, how to set it up. So that will be for the next video. Thank you.